is a wonderful feeling when you're that hot. You know, when you get that hot, you have to talk yourself into staying in the rhythm and not get too excited. The great ones do it often. It's kind of a hypnotic state. Patrice knocks down a three as well. They're 8 for 8 outside the three-point line.
That was his first attempt.
Abercrombie with a spin move. It only been better if he just dunked it too.
Saving that for the playoffs.
This New Zealander saving those guys in the black t-shirts at the end of the bench.
He wanted to let that rip too.
9 from 9. The Gold Coast Blaze.
Oh my.
They're not even open anymore. They're knocking them down anyway.
You don't need to be open when you're shooting like that.
Abercrombie pulls up from the free throw line. Garlick reels it in. De Leon back to Garlick. He turns it down. And Stephen Hoare being held by Mika Vakona. Gold Coast mixing it up a little bit. A couple of guys turned down some threes there.
Surely the first to miss has got to buy a carton or something.
When you're 8 for 8.
9 for 9, isn't it? Or is it 8 for 8?
Worthington to De Leon. He gets to the rim and he's mixing it up, and he has scored a bundle in a hurry. He's got 7 points. And he didn't score until the second quarter. Vakona changes hands in midair. The streaking Mark Goulding. Sorry, Chris Goulding. Who's going to miss the first three for the Gold Coast?
Well, defense has definitely left the door for both teams on entering.
Garlick with some good hands. Worthington to Garlick. He comes up short. De Leon tries the up and under on Pledger. Gets that tossed down. Patrice De Leon to inbound the ball from the baseline. Goulding catch and shoot. He's missed the first one.
Stop.
8 for 9. Finally, the streak comes to an end outside the three-point line for the Blaze. Pledger to the baseline. Yeah, slid that pivot foot a bit.
He's definitely traveled. It's a tough matchup for Stephen Hoare down low.
De Leon's got the Blaze back on track. We'll keep reading them out to you. That's 9 for 10 outside the three-point line. And Shane, we mentioned last night when you had 52 against Wollongong. It was 50-something, 52. And you were 12 for 17 at the three-point line as Goulding's off the mark with that one.
They're nice memories, those games.
That's the all-time best for the Sydney Kings. Dwayne McClain had it at 48 before that, and I had it at 46 before that one. But that game, I was 9 for 10 from the three-point line.
Oh, my, you didn't shoot enough.
Exactly.
9 for 10.
Bob pulled me out with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Bob was hating on you.
Can you believe it? I was feeling like you were when you had all those threes playing for Australia and Gorge took you out.
You could be sitting on the bench. Same thing.
Did you want to play?
I want to play.
Didn't Brendan ask you that?
Yep.
Oh, do you want to play, Shane? Wait, I got 10 threes. What do you think?
Yep. No, you know, it's hard enough to get on a roll at any stage. But when you are, you want to be able to get out there.
Blaze doing just that. Petrie, his contact, no call. Will Hudson doing what he does picks up the garbage and puts it back in.
Abercrombie needs to join this party. He's only taken 2 field goal attempts.
Buxom a little high on that one, on that lob.
Correction there. He's 3 from 6, Abercrombie.
Timeout on the floor as the Blaze continue to be hot. They're up 43-29.
Me again, with big news from Vodafone. For the last year, we've been rolling out a new network across Australia, and there's still more to come. We want you to be happy on our new network, so we're giving you a guarantee. For example, grab this Samsung Galaxy S2 for just $5 per month on our $29 plan. And if you're not happy within 30 days, just pay for what you've used and bring it back. Ask in store today about the new Vodafone network guarantee. Power to you, Vodafone.
Welcome back. Andre Lamanis talking to his team. He's got to be Coach of the Year, or there is corruption in Gotham City. Batman spoke to him before the game and asked him how happy he must be with his team being this good after losing Kirk Penny.
Yeah, it's been pleasing the way the guys have come together this year, and I think again testament to our club of how much time we spend with the youth and the amount of time we spend in the development and have those young kids coming through and at a place where they're happy to step up and take on more responsibility. You know, likes of Tom Abercrombie and Alex Pledges, those sorts of guys coming through. And I think it's one of those things. Perhaps last year the skill of those guys was lost a little bit by the focus on Kirk, and it's been nice that they've been able to come out of that shadow and have the opportunity to shine this year themselves.
Shane, you just had a stint with the Sydney Kings as head coach, and you've coached in this league. Do you guys have modesty classes or something? You know, I asked him that question, how good he must feel about his team and himself. You know, reproducing a team like this or reinventing a team like this without Kirk Penny. You know, somebody asked me that question. I'm like, damn right. I'd be taking a bit of credit.
I must have missed those classes. Andre Lamanis is a very, very good coach. I spent 2 years with him as an assistant. We roomed together for 3 months at a time, and very, very knowledgeable basketball coach. But he missed the playoffs for the first 3 or 4 or 5 years, and you know, was under a lot of pressure to hold his job. And now you look at him, and in my opinion, he's clearly the best coach in the competition.
Yeah, he really has. And it just shows you as Petrie gets the block. And his arm was grabbed. Good call. Petrie looking around like, any of you three see that? He grabbed my arm. That's how I lost the ball. But, I mean, this is a different team, you know. You lose a Kirk Penny. You know, we've always spoken about that. But this team is a very good defensive team when the time is right.
They are. And, again, they've laid the foundations over the last few years with guys like Abercrombie coming through, but they've got their role players and getting Nick of the Kona back. 2 good imports have made a big difference. Guys like CJ Bruton, you know, that he doesn't play the same sort of role as what he has over the years, but still a valuable component. And then you have a look at being able to bring in a shooter like Corletto. I mean, he wasn't even wanted for the Melbourne Tigers, and he's come and played a valuable piece to this puzzle going into the playoffs, and they're the favourites to win the whole thing. And now they've just signed him for another couple of years.
Yeah, you know, I love to see that with a player, because maybe it had gotten a bit stale for him with the Melbourne Tigers as Pledger looks for a teammate. Brewster has the ball deflected. Bacona goes up strong. Back to Daryl Corletto. Yeah, maybe it had gotten stagnated for him. So he moves to another city. They appreciate him. He appreciates the opportunity. He blossoms, and he gets to the next level. And really, that's what this competition is all about. You have to be able to go find a player who is maybe, you know, like that movie Moneyball. You know, like these guys are underestimated in the position that they're in, get an opportunity, and they flourish.
And that's why you take your hat off to Andre Lamanis, because he doesn't care that Daryl Corletto was the 11th man for the Melbourne Tigers. He saw a value in what he did. Now, when he brings someone like Corletto in, who's one of the best three-point shooters in the competition, he's just lost Kirk Penny. So they've got a whole lot of other things, but they needed a three-point shooter, and he's been able to play that role perfectly. And the same thing with the Townsville Crocs, being able to get Jacob Holmes. Again, not wanted around the league, but instead of really writing him off, now they've signed him for another couple of years. And, you know, it's going to put pressure on someone like Russell Hinder now coming out of contract.
Yeah, no kidding.
Watch it there.
But, I mean, then you say the same thing for Russell Hinder. You know, what club's going to look at him for an opportunity to be able to do the same sort of thing that Jacob Holmes has done?
Yeah. And it's like that. I mean, it just evolves, you know, and the young player who hasn't quite hit his straps yet, and then he doesn't get the opportunity, maybe playing behind a couple of players, and then it takes a coach that is smart enough to be able to figure out, oh, this young kid, if he gets more opportunity, will be able to do a lot more things.
And I think styles come into it as well, Steve. Like, you know, Pauletto may not have been the right fit for another team, and that's, you know, Andre Lamanis being able to see that that's what he really needed. And then the same with the Crocs as well.
Jason Kadee into the game for the Blaze. He gets plenty of opportunity, whether the whole team is there or not. He played a whole lot tonight. Tees with his hands in. Booster. Another good feed from Dylan Boucher.
Just a good pass. And, you know, listen to your commentary last night. You know, just those little things. Sometimes when you're going high-low and you have to be able to execute a pass, you know, they're the difference between winning and losing. And Dylan Boucher just there made two great passes with his left hand to be able to get easy baskets for pleasure.
Just reacting to what the D game, we're seeing two of the best in this game, Dylan Boucher and Stephen Orr, and making those little interior passes to teammates for point-blank shots. Brewster almost banks that one in. Worthington with the rebound, kicks it ahead to Kadee, turns the Jets on, finds Keys. Transition by the Blaze. Those are the three-point stats. 9 for 10 from the Blaze. 3 for 9 at 90% and 33.3. Morgan goes up. He's off the mark. And Hodgson grabs the board. Tees. They miss again outside the three-point line. That one's short. Brewster. He runs over Kadee. That's a little out of control. Natanahira is how you pronounce Morgan's last name.
Thank you for that, Steve.
My Maori friends, yeah, my Maori friends would not be pleased with me the first couple of times I tried to pronounce that one.
Fair enough, too. I don't blame them.
And that's what I love about the offseason is the movements that are going to be made. I mean, the players are pretty much here already. We're not going to have that many new players. We've got some young players, maybe got some college players coming back. But it's pretty much reshuffling the deck and see where these guys fall and who's going to be the next Jacob Holmes, who's going to be the next Daryl Corletto that blossoms in a new program.
Yeah, it's one of the most valuable periods for a club. Just putting those things together and evaluating the rosters and seeing, you know, what changes need to be able to be made to make the next level and really, you know, put your team in an opportunity to be able to win a championship. And, you know, the next 4 to 6 weeks is very valuable.
All right, well, I mean, you didn't go to the Sydney Kings program, you know, to have your hair done. You went there to be the head coach, show what you did, and then be the head coach for next year. If that comes about, what are some of the things that you're looking at doing? Or can't you divulge that type of information?
I think the first step is you've got to be able to get the job first before you start talking any further. And you know, it's certainly far from me being the coach for the Sydney Kings next year. I'll certainly throw my hat in the ring. I'd like the job, but we'll just wait and see what happens. If it does happen, we'll be scampering very quickly.
Jason Kadee brings it up. Youngster from the Bankstown area in Sydney. His floater's short. Leon Henry bringing it up against Tees. Henry goes coast to coast. Henry with some handle. I know he can shoot the three. You can always tell when a guy comes in and you haven't seen him play a whole lot. He just jacks a three up, does not hesitate. I look at his teammates straight away, see their body language, and they don't blink.
Yeah, they would have seen it in training a whole lot. Ooh. Didn't look comfortable on the line.
No, that looked like a three.
White ball, boys.
Kind of sling that thing up there. That one looks better. Henry with the score. 34 for New Zealand. If you just joined us, they've got 4 key players, the Breakers, and now Daryl Corletto's taking the night. Wilkinson, C.J. Bruton, Cedric Jackson.
I haven't seen a lot of Jackson this year, but his numbers have been just so impressive without being a superstar in the scoring column, but all of the other areas, and the games I have seen him, he's a great defender as well.
Yeah, you'd like him. Yeah, he's a winner, and I like to see a guy when things aren't going well. I saw a game in Townsville. He got no calls up there, and he still was a major factor in the game. Still played the D. He had about 8 rebounds. He was still making contributions, even though he couldn't get anything going. And that's what I like about a player. When the chips are down, they still make contributions. And he never got that pouting attitude.
When was the last time a team won an NBL championship without an American point guard?
I would say 2000, and when did you guys win it?
2003, 2004.
You're not going to say Kavasi was a point guard, are you?
Hell no.
Okay. I thought maybe
No.
it was like a trick question or something.
But he's talking about American point guards, and the good American point guards, I think now, are really the way teams have to be able to go. It has to be the right point guard.
Yeah.
But I think, when you look at Perth with Lish, and you look at New Zealand with Jackson as well, the top 4 teams have all got American point guards.
You forget about Lish because he looks like the other guards for them, just by physical appearance.
Yeah, and they sort of play a different style of game where he's not a pure point guard. Neither's Damien Martin.
Yeah.
Probably Brad Robbins plays more of that point guard role, traditional point guard role than the other two. But I think it's really important.
Yeah. Well, people say, oh, why do you have to follow the trend? Well, if the other trend is winning, you got to match it.
Well, I think the only thing that you would change that is if you say, well, there's an Australian point guard that really jumps out and can control a team and take a team to a championship.
Like a Dellavedova.
And really, he's probably the only one. Or Paddy Mills, really, the 2 of them are really the only 2 that I think have the capabilities of being able to do that.
That'd be interesting to see how Dellavedova goes in the draft.
I don't think we're going to see him in this country for a long time. I hope we don't, because it means that he's gone on and had a great career and just a great kid. I've raved about him for years. He's just a very, very good player.
Boucher backing down Stephen Hoare. Boucher's being aggressive tonight when he gets the ball down on the block. 31.5 seconds to go here in the second. Abercrombie steps into a 3 that's short. Tees with some handle. He's ripped by Boucher. Loose ball comes up to Boucher. It's to Brewster. Getting some minutes with 3 New Zealand guards sitting on the bench. His number's been called. That looked very average, and that'll be unsportsmanlike.
Nice job. Sounds good at the first tonight.
You got 2 referees calling that one.
They were arguing over it.
Unsportsmanlike foul call.
I used to hate when referees make enthusiastic calls like that. I'm like, man, I see you.
It seems to only happen when it's for the home team.
That's right, when the crowd gets into it. Now you got to give the referee something.
What?
I don't know. I'm still trying to come up with it. To end possession. And when you have a very average looking turnover and then turn around and give them 2 in possession, yeah, you deserve a seat.
Turn an error into a mistake.
Tees knows exactly how much time is left on the clock. All the time and poise in the world. Pump fake, step to the side, knocks down to 3. Plays with a big number here in the first half, 55.